Hey, Starscream! Stop slouching there. Fix your posture. Oh. Armada was an interesting time for Transformers. And depending on who you talk to, it was either ridiculously fun or ridiculously awful. After Beast Machines flopped, Robots in Disguise proved to be a surprise success story. What with its more back-to-basics story, throwbacks to old toys, its anime aesthetic, and more. So Hasbro opted to do a complete reboot of Transformers, a fresh start. And they were going all in with not just fresh takes on old characters, and new characters that were reworking of old characters because Hasbro allegedly lost the rights at the time. The toys followed suit, being larger sized than anything that came before it, and with this new approach came new gimmick. Now, when I'm talking gimmicks, I'm talking about special actions and features that do something big overall to the toy. Stuff like light piping or wheels are so integral to the design of a Transformer and so impactless to the overall toy, I don't consider those real gimmicks. No, what I'm talking about is the stuff that requires NASA-level engineering to pull off. I'm talking sounds, spring-loaded projectiles, built-in shivs, things going into things, combining, whatever the hell this is. When done right, a big gimmick can really add to a toy's value, and me personally, I always get excited when I see a well-executed gimmick. They could take a Transformer from something that just looks nice on the shelf to something where I just want to take them off the shelf and fiddle them. But there are plenty of times when the gimmicks go too far for a figure, much like whatever happened to Sideswipe here.
Sweet liberty, my arm!
And here we have Starscream. He serves as a perfect amalgamation of everything that makes Armada and its gimmicks awesome, and everything awful too. On visuals alone, Starscream is quite impressive, dwarfing many other figures that came before, and he's not even the third largest size class. Like the rest of the Armada era figures, he has a bright and multicolored paint scheme, with bright reds, neon yellows, and lots of light gray for arms and feet. He's a pretty solid representation of the anime character, with the only major difference being the cockpit window color. And that face, that cheeky grin, that smile that says,
"Yeah, I'll be the thing everyone loves about this show. I'm the one who will get all the re-releases and references to my story arc."
And if there's anything the Armada era got right, it's the feel of the toys. They feel very durable in the hand, like they can take a beating. Which, given these are children's toys, let's not kid ourselves, you do want them to take a beating from Uncle Junior. Which is certainly more than what I can say compared to the most figures in Beast Machines. But it's one thing to hold a figure, it's time to play with it, and as far as articulation goes, the arms do rotate around 180 degrees, and you can raise his arms a bit vertically, but that's it for the arms. For a sword-using character, he isn't going to do a whole lot of that blocking thing. The legs do go almost 180 degrees, and there are knee joints, and the legs rotate, but he isn't able to do any kind of convincing crouching position. Waist articulation? Forget it. Head articulation? Forget it. You can rotate the wings a bit too, which helps with stability, and of course he can take off his wing like in the show to form a sword. But yeah, not a lot going on with posing, and I know kids as a general rule care more about action features than they do articulation, but it's a shame such a great character is held back so much, especially compared to figures that came before. Though I suppose it's better than some other figures that came before. Hey, down Cheeto, down! Anyhow, let's start rattling off his gimmicks, starting with the mascots of Armada, for better or worse, the Minicons. These little micro machine looking things were the main collectible gimmick of Armada, and while they aren't very articulated, they are rather cute, this little dude being Swindle. You can also use them in conjunction with the Transformers to activate their gimmicks on these Power Links ports. Or some are just for storage, but whatever. Swindle is used for Starscream's main two gimmicks. You can attach him to the bottom of Starscream's fuselage by pressing the cockpit in, drops him like a bomb, and plays a sound effect inside. Unless the wiring is faulty or the batteries are dead, which in that case, good luck getting those stupid button batteries. Yeah, this thing does sound, and it's not just him. Every other MaxCon upwards in size, aside from Unicron and Tidal Wave, have sound playback. And of course, there's the other gimmick that you've probably seen by now. Like the cartoon, you press Swindle in and his missile launchers launch forward with a sound effect. Or of course you could do this with your finger very easily, but shut up, it feels good to do. And these missiles, let me tell you, I'm so glad I got them in Starscream because these things are lethal. Seriously, these things could knock the retina out of a kid's eye. See, this is what Legacy and War for Cybertron figures need. None of these static fart blasts. Actual spring-loaded projectiles. Like all the Armada figures, this transformation for Starscream is very simple but satisfying and easily accomplished even without a manual. Also, I quite like how Starscream's head pops back up when transforming him back to robot. It's a simple enough jet with the classic exposed arms underneath, but at least he can cave his hands in so his hands aren't exposed. Unlike some people, it still feels very good in the hand and even has wheels for rolling a little bit. The nose is a little crooked, which is a bit of a shame and was apparently done for safety reasons so little Billy wouldn't get jabbed by Starscream's nose. Instead, the missiles can injure your child. So, I talked a lot about the good and the bad of this figure, and the bad aspects are very big problems. So why did I get this figure? Why not Legacy or Thrill in 30? Well, I didn't get Thrill in 30 Starscream because I didn't know it existed at the time. That Legacy figure, quite frankly, I don't think it's all that great. Like, yeah, the articulation is nice and the boosters can go down, but the color scheme is a lot weaker. The missile gimmick without the missiles just feels pointless. And even the face has gone from smug snake to just a generic poo-faced frown, without any hint of smug. Thrilling 30 is better, but honestly still feels kinda off, with the boosters looking absolutely absurd now. And to be honest, I went into Armada wanting all the crazy crap that comes with it. Armada felt like they were really trying to give a kid their money's worth, with all the craziest, goofiest gimmicks you can imagine, with big, chunky, sizable, and strong figures. There is a presence felt with an Armada figure, for better or worse. They immediately stand out, and while sometimes they take things way too far with the clunkiness and gimmickry, they feel like an experience, and it does feel like they try to give each figure their own individual experience. I'm gonna give Starscream 3 3/4 homemade blankets out of 5, though realistically, it probably should be lower. Is it a mess? Yes, but that's why I love it. And it still feels fun to transform and mess with. Do I wish it was more posable? Absolutely. But in a way, it represents all that makes the Armada era just fun. I've got quite a few more and I'll look at them down the line. I love seeing these wacky gimmicks in action. Anyhow, if you excuse me, this little guy has some Linkin Park A&Bs to be in.